My alcoholic wife wanted full custody of our daughter and started making up lies about me to get it, so I exposed her for who she really was. I was awoken on my daughter's 5th birthday by her jumping on me and hugging me. "Daddy, Daddy, wake up," she repeated, her excitement contagious. She had always wanted me to join her for a princess tea party, and I had decided to make it special. As one of her presents, I bought an adult-sized princess outfit. "What is this, Daddy?" she asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. "Well, to go to a princess tea party, I need to be a princess, right?" I replied with a grin. Her face lit up with pure joy, and she was practically buzzing with excitement. She helped me into that dress, giggling the entire time, squeezing me with excitement. We made iced tea and sat down to our royal tea party, her laughter echoing around the room as she kept saying, "This is the best birthday ever." I cherished every moment of celebrating her special day with her, but when night fell and I put her to bed, she hugged me tightly. "Please don't leave, Daddy." I told her bedtime stories until she dozed off, and though the day had been filled with joy, the reality of our situation weighed heavily on me. The truth was, my alcoholic wife, Rachel, and I were divorcing, and she wanted full custody of our daughter. I knew she'd do anything to get it. Her brother, Matt, was representing her in the custody battle, and that terrified me. Matt was an undefeated lawyer, known for winning impossible cases. He had once represented a woman who had a history of alcohol abuse, no job, and lived in a rundown part of town. Despite all the odds being against her, Matt turned the case around. He painted her as a struggling mother who was turning her life around and loved her children deeply. He even spun her addiction as a strength, claiming it made her more empathetic and dedicated to protecting her kids from going down the same path. And somehow, he won the case. The mother got full custody. Knowing what Matt was capable of, I was terrified. If he could win that case, what chance did I have? But I knew I had to fight for my daughter, Lily. No matter how good Matt was, I had to try. During the court proceedings, Rachel lied about everything. She claimed I was the one who was always drunk, that I was incapable of caring for Lily. Meanwhile, it was Rachel who had the drinking problem. She spun a story that made me look like the villain, a reckless, irresponsible drunk. Then, she accused me of mistreating her throughout our marriage, saying I was verbally abusive and made her life miserable. None of it was true, but Rachel had her sob story well prepared, complete with fake tears. She even accused me of neglecting Lily, saying I was too careless and uninvolved to be a good father. The worst part was Matt backing her up. He twisted every bit of evidence and testimony to make me look terrible. He brought in so-called witnesses who claimed they'd seen me drunk or heard me shouting, but I stayed calm and waited for my turn. Then, it came Lily's turn to speak. The courtroom fell silent as she was called to the stand. The judge asked her a few gentle questions, and then Lily spoke. "I love my daddy so much. He's the best daddy in the whole world. He makes me good food every day, and he reads bedtime stories every night. I want to stay with daddy." When the judge asked about her mother, Lily paused and said, "Mommy loves me too, but she doesn't like to play dolls with me. She sleeps a lot, and sometimes I can't wake her up, and sometimes she gets mad and yells, but daddy never yells." Her innocence and honesty cut through the lies. She didn't understand the legal battle or the complexity of what was happening, but she knew who cared for her and made her feel safe. Her testimony was simple, but it was powerful. As she returned to sit beside me, I hugged her tightly and whispered how proud I was of her. That moment gave me hope, something Matt couldn't twist or manipulate. Rachel, on the other hand, grew more desperate as the case went on. She faked injuries, claiming I had been abusive, but her lies started to unravel. My lawyer presented phone recordings I had made of Rachel during our arguments. In those recordings, her slurred speech, her irrational shouting, and the threats she made were undeniable. The final nail in her case came when we played videos of her arriving drunk to supervised visits with Lily. There she was, on full display, stumbling, slurring her words, completely incoherent. As the video played, Rachel's confidence crumbled. She sunk lower in her seat, unable to meet anyone's eyes. She tried to interrupt, making weak excuses, but it was clear to everyone in that courtroom who Rachel really was. The final blow came when one of Rachel's own friends reluctantly took the stand. She admitted that Rachel had a serious drinking problem and had even confided in her about how she was manipulating the case. She revealed that Rachel had laughed about turning my parents against me. The courtroom fell into a stunned silence as the weight of the testimony hit. Rachel's lawyer, her brother Matt, looked flustered for the first time. He tried to regain control of the situation, but it was too late. The judge looked at Rachel with disapproval, clearly unimpressed by her lies and manipulation. Rachel, in her desperation, lashed out, claiming the recordings were fake and the photos were staged, but her attempts were weak and inconsistent. The judge took everything into consideration: Rachel's dishonesty, her erratic behavior in court, and most importantly, Lily's testimony. After reviewing the evidence, the judge delivered his verdict. He announced that it was clear I had the best interests of Lily in mind, and custody was awarded to me. As the judge spoke, I felt a wave of relief wash over me. Rachel began screaming and causing a scene, but all I could focus on was Lily. I knelt down and hugged her tightly as the courtroom buzzed with noise. I began crying, and Lily, with her innocent heart, wiped my tears and asked, "Will I see Mommy again?" I told her that she could, whenever she wanted, as long as I was there to protect her. That night, as we drove home in silence, I was overwhelmed by a sense of peace. When we arrived home, I started making dinner while Lily played with her dolls, her world already starting to feel secure again. As we ate, she asked me, "Daddy, are we going to be okay?" I smiled at her. "We're going to be more than okay, Lily. We're going to be happy." And in that moment, I knew that no matter what, we had each other, and that was all we needed.